So welcome in, Charles. It's finally nice to see you. Thank you for your patience. It was hard to reach to me, and I'm really, really glad that you took the time to tell us here today your theory on who the porch guy is. And if you want to start, just let everybody know who you are a little bit and how you came into art and why you think, as an artist and an art collector, you can tell us who's the porch guy.
Well, as you said, well, thank you for having me. As you said, I collect art. And one of the things I do is look at the micro art in paintings. And what I did when I got involved with this case, I was real upset that somebody actually grabbed an 84-year-old person who's basically disabled, a lot of pain, you know, and they bloodied her up and took her out of the house. And then, she expired, and they still haven't told the family where her body is. I thought that was disgusting. So I decided to get involved because my mother's 90. Okay. And I know that if it happened to me, I would do everything possible in the world to make it happen to find her. So I was looking at the porch guy, and I looked at the picture, and I looked at the eyes, and I looked at several pictures, and then I found a picture of Walter Ivan Gonsalves Jr. Goncalves. And when I looked at the eyes, I could see different shapes in them. And they matched the guy on the porch. They were identical. They just matched up. And as soon as they matched up, I mean, it's not like I found a couple pictures. It took me a while to get the right pictures, the correct pictures, so I could line them up. Mm-hmm. And when I did, they matched up, and I made a phone call to Tucson Police Department and to the FBI. Tucson even sent me an evidence chain to give it to them.
Interesting.
And nobody has called me back.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't expect a call back either. But yeah, it's just disappointing, right? But with 50,000 leads, they can't, I guess.
Right. But so I ended up posting it all over everywhere to make sure everybody knew this is the guy. He's done. Put a fork on him. He's done. I can't say anything else anymore than the eyes match up. As an art collector, and this is something I have a trained eye, and this is something I do daily. I look for the small art, the micro art in things. And when he looked at the camera the way he did, everybody has different images on their face, marks, everything, their lips. And you can see with the one picture of him looking at the camera, and his one above the lip right there. To me, if you look at it one way, it looks like the minnow from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
the boat. And so I sent you another picture, and it shows you they're identical, especially the mark and everything.
That one right there?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can see to the right on the he has a couple of hairs that came down. He didn't cut the hairs there that day, but yeah, they match up. They're identical.
Is it possible a scar?
He does have a little scar on his lip, right there. And yes, I did look at that, and he has it on, and it's definitely on the other picture. It's
Okay, because I'm
right
picking that up
on.
energetically, like a scar.
There's a little line right here, and they match up.
And they match up. Okay, because
Yes.
I'm just getting it energetically. Because you came on when I was saying, like, I had on no downloads on the band until recently, when I got this 4 o'clock at Annie and Tommaso's, and I see a face like this face, but it didn't look quite like Dominic Evans, and it looked like him, but with Dominic's hair. And I was so confused because I can't figure out of the two who I was seeing, but it was the first time I got an inkling into the possibility. Of course, this is all just speculation, right? Our opinion of the band's relationship to this potentially. And then I sent you, because I was trying to get you on and dealing with my own baloney, and it took a while to get you here because I was so busy with family stuff. I saw Chris's interview room of the Derek Colello case and how it's all being, his plea deal wrapped into a tiny bow, not for public consumption. And I sent you that video. Do you think that adds credibility to your theory that the band is somehow connected? What do you think about this Colello thing? And you want to talk about that for a second?
Well, the band member out there, or the person that knows them, um, apparently has a plea deal, and the judge threw him in rehab so he can remember everything that occurred. But I can only say what I know. Who is there? And like some of the people have talked about the pictures. Well, the one picture I used to identify him is 16 years old because it was taken in 2010.
Is that one of the ones you sent me here?
I believe so.
This one here?
No, this one's more recent.
That's Tommaso. I don't
Yeah,
have
but
it.
on the
Okay.
bottom, one of the distinctive thing about the bottom is you see how at the bottom of his eye, his iris, it has like two little bumps there.
Yeah, I see the little, and even under the iris around the pupil.
Yes,
Okay.
and to the side, on the side here, he has a little at the left hand side. There's a little square object on the right hand side, and then he's got a nice little mark on the upper corner of the eye, and they all match. They it's he's toast. Everything's all done.
And
And
he is who? Because, sorry, finish your sentence and then add for me, if you could, who he is for people that don't know.
I was just going to describe some of the
Go for it.
the marks on here. Like there's a C, and then the one picture looks like God, what's her name? The one I forget what her name is right now, but that's the big one. And then next to that is that little squiggly thing. Those are the little loops in his eyes. And then there's the square thing. And then up to the right, the last red one, it looks like a woman with blonde hair. And that is all in his eyes. Everything is there. It's just unreal. I mean, him looking into that camera like that is his death sentence. He's done.
Do you think?
And his name is Walter. And Walter Ivan Gonzalez is Jr. is an assistant federal public defender at the Tucson Federal Courthouse. And he is one of the members in Tomas's band.
So he's a band member and he's an assistant district attorney at the Tucson,
Federal.
Arizona
Federal.
federal district attorney, the assistant district attorney.
Yes. A federal public defender.
A federal public defender.
Yes.
OMG. Is that why this is being so suppressed, do you think? You
Yes.
think
As soon as I heard that, it was sealed, so nobody could get into it, and even he can't get into it. He's, even though he works for the federal government, he can't get into it.
that is incredible that he works in Tucson as a public defender? That's scary.
Yeah. And most people I've talked to are a little bit nervous about accusing him as a person involved. They ask me, why would somebody throw away their pension? I'm like, because of greed. People do that for money, and they didn't expect her to die, but you heard an old lady that's, that has heart problems and can barely walk. What else do you expect to happen? I mean, they didn't take her meds, and then they act like, oh, I'm sorry, she died. They deserve what they get. I really want them to get it. I want Trump to make sure he gets it.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed with how this case is playing out at the moment, and it makes me wonder if that's what the sheriff is burying and if he's going to get special protection. And because Kallela has to have some knowledge, in my opinion, for it to be away from the public eye and for his plea deal to be hidden within a plea deal that we're never going to see, tells me there's secrets being hidden. I don't know. What do you think of that? And
like I said, I can only go by what the evidence proves. No more, no less.
No, but it's suspicious to me. And then I'm hearing that Kallela played in the bands or worked at the restaurants in the band scene where Tommaso and his band, including Walter Gonzalez, played. So there's a connection to the band here through Kallela and what you're saying through Gonzalez.
Yeah, one of the clubs that they worked at, and I believe that these guys got together at, it's called Our Bar. It's right by the railroad tracks, right down the street from the federal courthouse.
Our Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the place I believe that they probably got their bright idea.
Oh gosh. So what are your, I mean, you're just sticking to the facts and what you see on the photos from your own eye. How do you feel about the outcome of this case? Do you think there's a chance that we're going to get some resolution and then we're going to go backwards again? I just want to see how you feel about where it's at right now.
Well, to me, part of it is the FBI doesn't know. Let me restate that. The FBI and Tucson Police Department don't know what each other are doing. And then you got half of the FBI saying, half of them say that the letters are fake, half of them saying that they're real. So you don't know what the truth is. But I don't care which one. I can say definite 110%, who was the porch guy. That, that's it. That's the porch guy, and he's the guy that's going, who was stupid enough to show his face. Even though it was covered, he didn't wear goggles and he didn't cover his mouth.
No, but they probably didn't bank on Google having access to that camera. But I also think my theory that they deliberately wanted to be seen, but that could be wrong. Okay, so do you want to go through? Well, first of all, I want to start with, because you told me some really interesting things, and then I want to go back to looking at a little bit more into these pictures, a little bit more in depth, if you could. I just wanted to lay the foundation here for who this guy is and how he really might be related to this whole case with the Kalella. Because to me, they're hiding something, and I'm hoping that Kalella has evidence that they're going to get him, you know, cleaned up for. As a test, for testimony, for, as a witness, as for testimony here. Because otherwise, I just don't understand why it's hidden. What's the point of hiding it all? If there's nothing to hide. So,
Right.
but you said you were putting your reputation at stake here by saying this, and that you posted things online, and then there was a response that Tommaso posted a picture somewhere online saying, "It's not me," right?
He
Is
didn't
that
say it. He just showed his face. He
okay?
showed his face because he had seen, I guess, the photos that I had accusing Walter uh, of being the person.
Okay, so is this the one he sent? He posted?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the one. So you're making the rounds. You were on the lab last week with Josh and Chris McDonough, and you said you've been doing the YouTube rounds and the social media rounds, doing interviews, trying to get the word out that you think, with your experience, that this Porch guy is Walter Gonzalez, right?
Yes.
And then, so in response to those tours, if you will, those, what you've been doing here, like you're doing here with me, where did he post this? Which social media platform? Because again, I don't have access to anything anymore.
I got that off of X.
X. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think he's watching?
They all are. The family's watching, and the criminals. The criminals are watching. As the psychics get close to it, they know whether they're getting close, yes or no. So yeah, they're nervous. They're very nervous. Everybody, and the family just wants it over with, and they want their mother returned. I don't blame them.
How do you feel about the family being so quiet? We're going all over the place, but I'm just kind of following the thread here. How do you feel about the family being so quiet?
I'm sure they have PR people that told them don't say anything. Less is more, and that's what's happening. They're not saying anything, and people, keep on pounding Savannah about not saying anything, and not being physically out there looking. It's a shame that for the family, because if they're not involved, then this is heartbreaking. This is somebody's worst nightmare.
Right. So you don't make the direct, hey, they know these people, they must be involved, to connection.
Yeah, they even though they know them, participate in bands, they may not be involved. Somebody got a bright idea and said, okay, let's go grab this old lady.
Well, yeah. Do you even know if the band's still together?
No, I don't.
I don't know either, and it doesn't seem like they are.
I don't know. It's just
okay.
I don't know a lot. I wish I knew more.
Okay. So Tommaso's been watching. He sends that picture out. Do you have any more you want to tell us about these pictures? But I also want you to explain, because you said something interesting to me about how you became an art collector. And I think it's interesting, being a psychic medium. You said you got a download. Do you want to share that quickly? And then we'll.
Well,
do you remember?
Wait a minute. I want to send you a picture here.
Because I thought it was really interesting, the story you sent. Okay, here we go.
This is when you line this up with the masked guy standing on the grass. No two people stand alike.
Let me see if I can get them together, okay? I don't know if I can do that without removing us. Let me just see if I can do that. I'm gonna have to do another day. It won't let me. But okay, I trust you.
Yeah, no two people stand alike. And like I said, this picture here is 16 years old. So,
Okay.
and he's put some weight on
Yeah.
because here he's really skinny, and it looks like when they went to go get Nancy, they put some extra clothing on it so they wouldn't be identified.
I thought so too. That was my immediate thought. In fact, I thought they walked in quite a ways. But you're right. You can see it almost in the arms, the way they dangle.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you say to people that say, like Monk's Intrigue, who did the walk down and that he lined up the walking and the foot, the gait from Tommaso and Annie and Savannah when they walked down to the memorial, he compared the gate to the gate of the porch guy and they looked exactly the same. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I, you know, Tommaso is also, a guitarist. He plays the bass, um, but it's not him. The face, he's played the guitar forever, and this guy has played. But you can see his stance. He looks like he's holding a, getting ready to hold a guitar. And then in the one picture, he actually looks like he's ready to jam on it. Uh, he's his stance and look are what give him away. He's
And
just
the
it's
eye,
just
the facial.
the eyes, the stance, everything. The scar on his face. He's done.
Well, I hope everybody's taking you seriously um, at the FBI. So you want to just tell me a little bit because I think that's really cool when you start talking about the person that you were led to study in art and the
Oh,
story with Marilyn Monroe and all that. So
well, um, I was one day coming into the living room and uh, I just asked myself what I want to do next. And I heard three words in my head, and it was Pollock, Jackson Pollock. And I honestly didn't know who Jackson Pollock was until I looked him up. Then I found out he was an artist, and I really didn't, like his art. But I looked into it. Excuse me, and then eventually I went to Kutztown College, and I looked him up. Even brought a book home, and I went and looked through it, and I um, came home, and a couple days later, a painting came up, and in that painting, I bought because I saw things that match what was in his paintings. So that painting, number one, had a lot of information in it, and I didn't know it then. But what eventually I found out that Marilyn Monroe and Jackson Pollock had an affair, lasted for years, and they had a daughter in 1948. She'll be 68 in the fall. No, 78. Excuse me, 78. She's 10 years older than me. But I found out he had a daughter with her. Then he had a babysitter, and he had three children with her, two sons and a daughter. And the daughter was born 3 months after he died. So, um, yeah. Um, then a few years later, that woman had a relationship with William de Kooning and had a daughter uh, with him. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And then you showed me a piece of your collection. Would you be willing to share?
Oh, sure. Okay. One. Okay. I want to set this up right. Let me send you some pictures. Okay.
Okay. And then I'm not done with the screenshot to give you one last bit when we just before we wrap up, just to go through all the photos. But I really think it's important people understand that you are an art collector. You've been doing this for a while. This isn't just you drawing on a sketch. This is your trained eye, right?
Okay. This is one.
Oops, hang on. You have the original there.
Yes.
Okay. It's pretty cool.
Oh, you can only do 10.
Oh, I can remove some of them.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll remove the picture of Tommaso, right? We don't need that.
Okay.
Click. Oh, no, hang on. Can you have to remove them because you added them. So interesting.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I just want to.
And then you can explain what we're looking at when you're ready.
Okay. I'm trying to. Where? This is The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. This picture was taken in the 1940s or 1950s, and this shows it. Now, on the left side of the wall here, where I have this circle, that is the Holy Grail. He didn't put it on the table that for everybody to drink. He put it over here. And when you enhance it and look at the lip of the cup,
Let me get that on.
up here, up in the corner, if you put it back to that
To the other
no,
one. That one?
no, the other one.
The one I had, or I'm so
That one
confused.
right there.
Okay, yeah.
Now, up at the top of the cup, you can see this is cracked right here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And up on the top of that cup right there, it's identical. Nobody knew that for 500 years that the Holy Grail was right there on the left wall. And above it, the tapestry is all X's and diamonds like this.
Unbelievable, Charles.
Yes, this is the Holy. This is the real thing. And there are like 200 copies. I can guarantee you This is the real Holy Grail. On the bottom here, there are 12 petals to this, and there are 5 brown petals, and that's for the 2 in the hands, 2 in the feet, and the 1 in the side. So, but there's a lot of information that was on here, portraits and pictures and everything, and it's all faded over all the years. But this artwork is phenomenal, and that's why I can honestly say all those other ones across the world are fake, because even in the Bible, it talks about the cup, not the chalice, not the plate, the cup, or any, or the bowl or anything else. Everything got grandized, but this is just a cup, and that is what this is, the Holy Grail.
Wild.
And
Absolutely
Da Vinci
wild.
had this.
Da Vinci, I love those books. The Da Vinci Code. Awesome. Okay. Very, very cool. Thank you. Do we need to add more pictures to the screen? I want to go back now that people understand that you've been doing this for a long time. You've got some pretty cool art collection going on there. And you want us to go back one time through, one at a time, the pictures, so you can explain. And do you need to add any?
I'm just going to delete some so we have some space here.
Okay. Okay. So here we have the picture of, tell me who we've got here, Charles.
Nick, Tom, and Walter. And okay. They are Early Black.
What's Early Black?
That's the name of their band.
Okay.
And this was the album. And it was called Life, Love, Murder. And the number 3 song, Apocalypse Close to Home, is the one that got me.
Yeah, and what about the end?
Yeah. They are all I can honestly say I have a feeling that if you can get a copy of this or listen to all these songs, I have a feeling and one of those songs might tell where Nancy is.
Really? You think so?
That's, they made this 16 years ago, and when a person's thought is in the past, I think there might be a clue in one of those songs.
Well, it's a really strange album title, Life, Love, Murder.
Yes.
It almost seems like a sequence of events.
Yes.
Life happens, then love, and then love turns to murder. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then Melting Face, which is creepy with the whole mask. Apocalypse, close to home, like you said, a hollow. That's, not very positive either. Nobody cares. Eye of the Storm, Freedom, Insanity, Negative, and the end really bothers me too. Wild. It could be coincidence, but they definitely aren't into positive music. Who's this? And just before we go, sorry, is this not Dominique Evans on the left, far left?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I heard you say another name. Okay.
Nick.
It's the only
I'm
one.
Sure I think they call him Nick.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So not Domenico.
And
Nick.
they instead of calling Tommaso, they call him Tom.
Okay. And who's this?
Walter.
Okay. Because when I look at this, when I had my vision, the more I look at this, I was confused. Because if you ignore Tommaso and you look at Dominique on the left and Walter on the far right, in my flash with hair, I couldn't tell. But the more I look at this, I think it was Walter. But I heard the word Domenico. But I think I'm love to see what he looks like now. But my vision had him, and he's almost the same height as Tommaso, which I concluded is the same height as Savannah, which makes the porch guy the 5'10", 5'9". I did that in a video, and looking at him, he's almost the same height as Tommaso, which makes him plausibly 5'10", 5'9". Because I did, when they walked down the laneway, I did a video and Savannah was wearing 1-inch heels and she was only 1 inch above him, meaning they are the same height, and she's 5'9", 3/4. And they said
Okay.
Porch Guy was 5'9", 5'10". And they're almost the same height when you look at them standing together. So it makes him also 5'9", 5'10"-ish. So that's very interesting. Okay. And now we're just going through them. And then you're saying the stance, which I wish I could put these together, but I can see them just going back and forth, like the way his arms hang.
The right arm is shorter, and on the Porsche guy it's the same way. The left arm is longer or wider to the left. It's this is probably, if they don't use this in court, there's a screw loose somewhere.
Yeah, because you can really see that arm hangs differently, doesn't it?
Yeah,
From his body.
He's a guitarist. He's a guitarist, and he holds his hand like he's ready to pick up a guitar.
But you can also see it in the shoulder. So looking at this picture would be his left. Everything on mine is reversed. No matter how many times I try to change it, everything is reversed on my picture. But hopefully for everybody looking here, where the arm where his watch is, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
That shoulder, it drops. It drops compared to the other shoulder, and so does it here.
Yes. Yes. No two people stand alike.
I just want to keep going back to this because I'm hoping everybody's going to see this. This shoulder where his watch is droops more than the other one, and you can see it right there. So you're saying
the first thing people will say is that they don't look like because one is bigger than the other. And I emphasize again, this picture here is 16 years old.
And this one, you think, as I said at the very onset, as most people thought, they look like they're bundled up in more layers than one of clothing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they didn't want to get caught.
Yeah. Okay, fascinating. Okay, so now let's move up to that. Tell us what you see.
Well, I can see there is there's a C on the left inside of the eye, and then I see what's her name, Jessica Hahn. It looks like, with her hair and everything, and on this picture here you can see it really good, and here on the left side of the eye, on the inside of the eye there, you can see it really well. And there's another part, but I'm not saying that because I'll keep that for the police. But there are around the iris, the way the little extensions, little outcasts or little dots, or whatever we want to call it, are on the side of the eye, on the inside of the iris, and then at the bottom of the eye, there's a couple of dots there. And then on the left side of the eye, there's like a squarish part. And then up in the corner of his eye, there's another mark.
Yeah, I can see them in here. And you're saying those also exist in here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's him. It's him. There are no two people who have the same marks. He stands the same. His eyes are the same, and the scar's the same.
Unbelievable. And he's got a connection to the family.
Exactly.
And he's local, which everybody's been saying. And OMG, he's a federal district
Assistant federal public defender.
assistant federal public defender. So he is the assistant to a federal public defender.
Yes.
In where we just saw the Derek Colello courthouse case.
Yes.
He works there.
Yes. But he doesn't have access to that information. They made sure that.
Well, I hope that's why. I hope you're right. If it certainly seems like pretty plausible that this could be. I'm saying could because everybody's innocent until proven to a court of law and a court of law otherwise. And this is just your opinion, my opinion. But it certainly looks like you could be correct. And if that's the case, I hope they took your tips seriously if they weren't already on this train. And how long ago did you send those, by the way?
A while ago. I don't even keep track anymore.
And you sent it more than once. One to the FBI, one to Pima County. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you try the online one?
Yeah. I've done everything possible, humanly possible to do everything. It's just I don't understand what it's taken so long. I mean, the pictures themselves get this guy, he's guilty of sin.
There must be something complicating something or another. And maybe my hope is this Colella, it needs to be sobered up before he can testify. But then you'd still think we'd have arrests going because trial would be, forever from now, right?
Yes.
So it seems like they're lacking something to put this into a conviction.
Or they're waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. And like you said, it's not helpful when one side of the investigation is fighting with the other. And it seems like a bunch of battling 2-year-olds instead of professional law enforcement, public servants. It seems like a bunch of petulant fighting in the background. So it's hard to have a lot of faith. But I have to tell you, you've restored my faith here because I think you're onto something. And if the Colella story and you add this into it, hopefully means that he's being sobered up for something important, because you don't seal documents within a plea deal to keep it secret if there's nothing important. So to me, I'm hoping you're right and this is going to come together and we can finally get justice for Nancy. But now I want to go listen to these songs and see if there's something in here on what happened to her.
Yeah. I want to go, my thought on this, 90% of all of the cases that happen, the public has some input into these, and they're not giving us anything to put any input into it. And this was the only thing that has come across, and that I myself was able to, prove that this is the guy. I don't know why they're keeping it such it's such a, what is it, button up, that they're not giving the public any information. And I don't know why.
No, I know. And it does lead to suspicion, and the lack of transparency is what, fuels the flame of conspiracy, and because people need to fill the gap of the mystery, and that's the way human behavior is. And we don't just like the unresolved standing out in the open. And until they start coming up with statements and updates and solutions and it convict somebody, I think, we're going to get more conspiracy theories out there and more, is Savannah behind it? Is she? I myself surely have come to the point where I wonder what she knows, and is she concealing stuff? Like, how do you not know that your family's under investigation when their car's impounded for 41 days? How do you not know Colella's got a plea deal for sending those texts and that phone call that's sealed from public information? She's got to know some of this stuff. You would think.
I'm sure that the authorities are giving her a little bit. She hasn't said anything, and I nobody has said anything, and it's that's when there's nothing, that's what's the phrase, that's the latest thing, when nobody says anything, you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
It's just baffling. I've never seen anything like this before.
I actually, if she is being guided, I'm not sure she's being given the right advice, Savannah. I mean, I'm not a PI person, but it seems to me that people are starting to turn against her slightly because of her silence. I don't know. I'm not a law enforcement officer. Clearly, I don't know what they know, but I'm not sure the silence has helped the family in these conspiracy theories at all. So,
I have to say she has been holding herself together pretty well, considering everything that has occurred.
well, that's the problem I have. I mean, my dad, he didn't die. I got a phone call. My mom and sister with my dad with dementia, he used to be in Florida 6 months of the year, and then he moved there on a work visa. And I had stepped away from the family unit because of all the trauma from my mom, my sister, my mother's sister, my aunt, and hadn't heard from my dad. And I just thought, okay, well, I guess my dad's not going to talk to me anymore either. And then I get this text from him on Father's Day, 2018, not knowing he had dementia. And my mother and sister had ignored my power of attorney and he signed his rights away, everything he owned. And he had a contract, and his business owners were lawyers and a judge, and they put illegal liens on his houses. So when I get the call on my birthday, a year later after that text of reconnecting with my dad, they just read him his last rites in the hospital because he had no money for his pneumonia prescription in Florida, and we're Canadian. And I'm still angry. I'm still triggered. I still cry over my dad. I don't know how she's doing it. And everybody grieves differently. And maybe I'm not nearly as full of grace as Savannah is, and I'm not a public figure. But it makes me curious if she's not processing properly because she went back to work so quickly and she has to be in production mode. I don't know if you've ever grieved the loss of somebody, but it kind of comes on you in waves when you're least expecting it. My dad just died just over a year ago after all this 6 years of hell with all this legal strife. And I still am angry about the lack of justice. I just don't, for the life of me, can't figure out how she's properly processing and managing this. I just wonder and hope she's processing properly, because.
Well, we don't know what she's doing behind the scene. We don't know if she's crying,
right.
Day in and day out,
You're right.
And I'm sure she's watching, trying to figure out what's going on and what the authorities are saying. We don't know. She's doing the best to keep her life together with her husband and her children, and going to work.
All that, and I think she's doing amazing. I'm just hoping she's grieving properring and processing.
You can't grieve until there's a finality to it, and catching the people and bringing her mother home.
See, I think it's the opposite. I think when that second ransom note came, they decided in their minds, she's dead. We may never find her. I have to move on with my life. And we've come to the conclusion she's dead, and we will likely not ever bring her home based on statistics. That's what I think has happened. And so they've already closed that chapter. She's dead. She's gone. That's just how I feel, but I could be wrong. And you're right. It doesn't mean she's not grieving behind the scenes. I just don't know, with all that pressure to perform, having gone back to work so soon, I just hope she's properly processing it. And if these people are truly being looked at in the background and she's aware of it and there's connections to her sister, that's got to be overwhelming to deal with.
Yeah. And the whole family is under a microscope, and nobody knows who, who, where, what, when. That's the whole thing. And I can guarantee you that Savannah wasn't involved with this. This is,
Oh, I don't think she was involved either. No. But then why did she call Mark Kelly? Now that you've given us what you've given us about this guy's and like job at the federal courthouse, you know, it begs some more questions for me. It's curious. Curious.
Well, she has to, act in a certain manner in public. That's the whole thing. Even though she's dying, even though she's dying on the inside.
I know. I just know I haven't been in it, not in her caliber of job, obviously, but when I was a single mom and I was winning international sales awards with Keller Williams and I was flying busy, I didn't have time to process my emotions because I was too busy. And that's a form of escapism, if you will, from the reality is being busy. And I was a coach for years, so I just hope that's not what's going on. But with all that said, I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you taking the time and your patience for me, waiting for me to feel well enough and have time to meet with you. Truly, I appreciate your grace, Charles, and your patience. And, stay in touch. I hope you still follow the channel. And God willing, let's all pray that we get some closure for Nancy Guthrie here, that the family, like you said, most importantly, that's why I'm trying to find her right now, because I think that's the only thing we can maybe do as the public right now is to try to keep her name out there and try to find her, the people that are boots on the ground, to bring closure, like you said, for the family, because it's hard to, I can only imagine, hard to find closure until you find your mom. Complete closure, right?
Yes.
So let's pray for that. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.